everybody, welcome and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna be doing part 5 of the ODBJ series. Today, I'm gonna give you all my advice to start your budgeting journey. So if you'd like to know my take on that, please stick around for the video, leave a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go. Okay, my friends, so we have reached part 5 of this beautiful series, and I'm excited about this part because I feel like, we all been there, but I feel like we all enter this world kind of blindly, and then it can be overwhelming. So anything that could ease that process is welcome. So let's just get right into it. Okay, so my number one advice is honesty. Yes, honesty. I think that you are gonna need to be really honest with yourself in order to create change in your life. You're gonna need to do some things that are not so much fun when you begin this budgeting journey. And yeah, and it might be uncomfortable at times, like tracking transactions. You're gonna need to start really tracking all of your transactions. You can do it digitally, you can use an app, you can do plain old pen and paper, but you're gonna need to start really putting in like a visual of whatever you spend. And most likely than not, you're gonna face yourself with the fact that you spend money in dumb things. Yes. And I say that because I do that. And I still do it, but not as much. But I used to spend my money in really dumb things, just like being unprepared for pop-ups, spending impulsively, using shopping therapy to compensate for emotional issues and anxiety. And, that's hard to admit, that's hard to face. And you are really going to need to be honest with yourself to start the tracking. So within honesty, you're gonna need to track your transactions. You're gonna need to do that because otherwise you don't know what your spending habits are. Once you start tracking your transactions, or along with tracking transactions, you're gonna need to figure out what your bare necessities are. Don't ask me to write necessities because it's a hard word for me, okay? So you're gonna need to figure out what your bare necessities are. So that means roof over your head. So your rent or mortgage, electric, water, gas, phone, transportation, all of those things that really capsule what you need to be alive and well. So once you figure that out, then you can proceed to figure out what your wants are. So wants are gonna be, they can be anything really, but I will say things that make your life more comfortable or more joyful. So that's relative, but I will say things like, I don't know, Netflix subscriptions or massages, sports, things of the sort. Now sometimes, depending on your lifestyle and who you are as a person, some of those things can be bare necessities. So just figure out what those are for you, and then you're gonna need to make decisions. So once you figure out your wants, you're gonna need to figure out which ones of these wants are there to stay as of now. You may need to modify some of these things. You may need to temporarily shut down some of them because they are not really bare necessities and you don't need them right now. So you may need to adjust that. So once you have this figured out, that's when you can start your budgeting, because now you have a global idea of what your expenses are. So let's say that this is all $1,500 a month. This is just an example, right? So now once you have this $15,000 a month, $1,500 a month spent, you need to figure out how you're gonna come up with this money, how you're gonna budget for this money. Now, again, there are a lot of methods. So I will say that number 2 is figure out your method of budgeting. So for methods, there are infinity types of methods. I think the most popular ones are cash stuffing. So you can decide to go in a cash only budget, but I find that not to be the best for myself personally. It was just really hard. So what I do is a hybrid method where I use my credit and debit cards to pay for everything, and then I pay myself back at the end of the month. So I cashed off my binders, and then I paid myself back from that money. And that's what works for me. But what works for me may not be what works for you. So on this video, I'm going to be listing about 22 budgeters. So pick any of them and check out their methods, because maybe their methods may be something that you're interested in. It will work for you. So there are a lot of options. Number 3. So for number 3, I just want to give you a very personal advice. And this is something that I had to figure out a way to make it work for me, because I didn't want to spend more money trying to spend less money. And that is, you don't need any fancy things. You don't need anything, really. You don't need the binders. You don't need the markers. You don't need the perfect notebook. You don't need any of that. So you just need a pen and paper. You can use whatever you have at hand to start your budgeting journey. All of these things are nice, of course, and it's almost like a visual of your progress. That's how I like to see it. I started with just the one binder, and I had this, and then when I started my YouTube channel, that's when I bought my second binder, and now I have like 4. I got one as a gift, and then I bought another one, and that's cute, and that's fun, and it does make it more interesting to budget. But I don't need any of that. If tomorrow I am unable to feed myself and I need to sell all of my binders to come up with grocery money, I'm gonna do it, because this is not important. This is just accessories, right? So you don't need any of that. So don't feel bad if when you start your journey you don't have all the cutesy stuff, all the cute savings and scratch offs and all that. You'll get there. You'll get there. When you start budgeting, you will start making space for the things that truly matter for you, and you will learn to prioritize. It's not gonna happen from one night to the other. It's gonna take some time, but eventually you're gonna develop your budgeting muscles, and you're gonna start really, figuring out what you want and what things you want to give it more importance to, and then you can start building up from there. So yeah, number 3, don't get caught up in the whole like cutesy Instagrammable things, because they're just for fun. The true meat of the soup is the budgeting. Everything else is just like the cheese on top. What do you have with soup? I put cheese and chips on the side, but those are not needed, right? So yeah, so no fancy stuff when you start. My number 4 advice is to never budget with additional income. So things like side hustles, bonuses, overtime, any of that, don't budget with that money in mind. You need to budget with your what is it, gross or net? I don't remember. You know what I mean? Just with the salary that that you get every week or bi-weekly, whatever it is, you need to budget with that. Anything extra, you allocate to other extra expenses. So savings challenges, trips, vacations, haircuts, whatever that may be, you can budget, you can start stuffing with that extra money. Now, I know that that is not possible for everybody, because we all have different circumstances, but try and make an effort to zero down your budget to fit that original amount, so then everything else can be extra, can really be extra and not part of your income. Another suggestion will be to get a second job, so then you will have two like core salaries to cover your expenses, and then everything extra again is extra. And yeah, and also of course in that journey you're gonna learn to maybe reduce some budgets in order to accommodate for that. Again, I know this is not possible for everybody, so don't feel bad if you aren't able to achieve that right away or at all. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you that from, from my own personal experience. Number 5, and I think this is the last one for me, is don't compare yourself to anybody. Don't compare yourself to anybody. The only person you have to show up for, compare to in equal grounds, that you have to impress and that you have to, keep tabs on, is yourself, not anybody else. Not your neighbor, not your sister, not the person that works for you and makes the same money with. Nobody. It's just you, and that's it. You have to show up for yourself. Nobody has the same journey. Even if the person that has the same income as you have to compare to. No, because we all have different circumstances. We all have different responsibilities. So the only person that you really need to show for is yourself. So don't feel bad if a person that makes the same money as you is doing so much better, because first of all, that's subjective. You don't really know what's going on, in their personal lives. So maybe they're doing good financially, but maybe emotionally it's not good. So, comparisons are just silly because they don't help anybody. The only person that you can compete with and really measure yourself is with yourself. Take a look back. Let me give you this homework or exercise. Let's say you start your budgeting journey right after this video. I want you to, 3 months from now, take a look back at this point today and see how much change and progress you've made. It might not be a lot, but it's gonna be something because you are starting, and that is the number one thing. You're showing up for yourself, you're starting this journey, and it is not an easy one, and it takes some adjusting. It takes some time to figure out your habits, modify them, and then stick to them. So it might even take a year. Like, I've been doing this since the beginning of the year, and I still haven't fully figured out what my spending trends are. So, be kind to yourself, be grateful to yourself, and don't be so hard on yourself. So I think those are all my advices. This is Kiara from the near future. I'm coming back to tell you something that I forgot that is really important, and that is, I guess, number 6 advice is be open to changes. You need to have an open mindset entering this. You need to be able to have an open mindset to try methods, to trust the process, and to accept that budgets are not a one size fits all. And I'm not talking about other people, I'm talking about your own life. Every month is gonna look different. Every month have different levels of expenses, and one budget is not gonna carry you through the whole year. You need to be really open to understand that, to let things happen, because it's impossible to have one single budget for the whole year. Christmas is approaching, Thanksgiving is approaching. Those months are gonna be probably higher than, let's say, maybe a January or February, where there isn't much going on. So you need to be open to adjust your budget accordingly, and be open to the changes that budgeting is gonna bring to your life and your relationships. Okay, so some changes I've noticed in my relationships are I've set up some boundaries with my friends. They know that I'm in a budgeting journey, and a lot of them are very encouraging. Some of them don't really get it. But now when I go out, they know that I'm going out with mindfulness. So I go out and I want to enjoy myself, and I have a budget to spend on that day. And when I say no, it's no. And they don't peer pressure me. And that is something that, budgeting and might create some changes in your life, and all changes always, can be a little uncomfortable sometimes. But usually when there is growth involved, those uncomfortable changes are always for the better. So be open to go into that journey. Now let's jump back into a little earlier Kiara for my final thoughts. these are the advices that I have. This is just a point of reference for you to start your journey. Everybody is on a different journey and everybody has different circumstances. So what may work for me may not work for you. But I hope that throughout this series, you've been able to really take a little bit from everybody and figure out what is your method. At least I know that I've gotten some amazing perspectives from other budgeters. Everybody's amazing in this community. So I want to shout out my girl April. Thank you so much, April, for creating this series. It's been really insightful to navigate the reasons why, it's been a good refresher. I think that we all share that sentiment, everybody that is on this series, and that is always good. Going back to basics, ground yourself is always good. So thank you, April, for that. Go follow her. I know that she's already cooking something new, so go check out her channel if you want to be on the known. I want to thank everybody that has been following this journey for myself and my fellow budgeters, because you've really shown up. I've seen people that are not part of the series but have commented in all of the videos. So you are the goat of comments. So aka Liz. So yeah, thank you for that. I want to thank especially Chris on Budgeting Just because I am next in line from her video, and every week she shouted me out, and she is so funny. I love her. Chris, I love you. I hope that you're watching this video. But if you're not, that's okay too, because you're on your own journey. A couple other channels that really stood out for me on this series are Tracy, a Golden Girl Budgets. You all know her. I know you do. Kimberly from All Things Kimberly. I really like her journey of leaving a legacy for her grandkids. I think that has a lot of value. Also, Vicky at Vida with Vicky. I really enjoy her shares and I love her channel. Obviously, I like her a lot because she's also Spanish, and representation matters, guys. And she just got a very interesting journey too as an immigrant, and it makes me wonder about what my kids are gonna, financially go through living here. So yeah, that was very interesting. I also, of course, love my girl Melissa, a Budget Stuff Save Repeat. I think her perspective, like her journey, is very interesting because she's been technically financially stable, but then things just are always happening. So yeah, I find it very interesting. So there are 22 budgeters on this series, if I'm not mistaken. These are some of the ones that really I enjoyed their shares, found points where I felt like I could relate. So just like I did, you can find people in this series that you may connect with and really see that it is possible to create change, growth, and development in your life, financially and personally. So once again, I thank you all for tagging along on this journey. I hope that you enjoyed this series, this video, and I hope that you stick around for my channel to continue see me on this journey and on this growth. That's why my channel is called Budget and Grow, because budgeting was the seed that I needed to start my journey into a more financially sound adult. So yeah, I hope that you are enjoying this. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.